Hello, my name is Alonzo Ruffin Jr., and I'm going to be speaking for my final video paper pertaining everything about the gut and the microbes as well. So, the gut, also known as the gastrointestinal tract, is a system within your body that is responsible for things like nutrient absorption and transfer, as well as food digestion and waste production. In addition to these, the gut is also referred to as the second brain due to the large amounts of neurotransmitters within its system, but it's also because it's called the ENS or the enteric nervous system. The ENS is one of three divisions of the ANS automatic nervous system, which is composed of sensory and motory neurons as well as interneurons. The ENS extends from the esophagus to the rectum, and the ENS can perform functions independent from the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. That's truly where it gets its name, the second brain. Now, for gut microbes, within the gut lies microbiota, which are bacteria, but bacteria is just one of many, is one of the different categories of microbiota. And on a larger scale, microbiomes, around 100 trillion, are the environment of said microbiota. Now, microbiota are unique per person, but they share a core microbiota, two predominantly being Bacteroides, is a mouthful, and Firmicutes. There are factors such as the sharing of more similar microbiota with family members due to the genetic similarities and offspring. This core functionality is comprised of tasks like the degradation of complex carbohydrates and the synthesis of essential fatty acids. Overall, these microbes are essential for health and survival. Gut microbes and what we eat. Now, the origins of these microbes derive from our mothers. Granted, only a small amount, but majority comes from a vaginal birth or a C-section. Now, for the C-section, the microbes come from the nurses and anybody that's handling the newborn. The gut microbes' relation to the things we consume generally affects the shape and quantities of microbiomes and microbes. More specifically, the diet shapes of these things. Various diets either offer an increase in particular microbes within a body and others lower that amount. Gut microbes on the mental side of things, however, can influence what you eat as well. This is through the alteration of neurotransmitters within the gut and in turn is sent out to the brain. These factors are important because what you eat can ultimately kill microbial diversity. And that's very important because if you don't have a different various group of microbes, you essentially will have like negative health effects because you only have one type of microbe in your body and you're missing the essential microbes that are for your health. So, gut microbe theory. What is it? So, the gut microbe theory suggests that the gut and all its organisms play a vital role in human health. The gut microbes can affect and alter the different systems in our body, from the immune system, digestive system, and the metabolic system, just to name a few. The way that these systems are affected by the gut microbiomes can in turn affect physical and mental health. So this theory is essentially for the betterment of your body through, uh, I guess you would call an altercation of like the gut microbes. The for how it's therapeutic, it is therapeutic because it helps to regulate, promote, and protect when it comes to your body's health systems. With the use of things like probiotics, prebiotics, and other things, manipulation can happen with these gut microbes, which allow for the possible treatment of diseases by bringing back a balanced microbiome. One research study that was related to gut microbes and how it affects health will be a study on germ free mice, where the physical health is linked to gut microbes. In the first part of the study, it was found that mice injected with microbiota from the obese humans gained weight, while on the other end, mice injected with microbiota from the non obese humans remained thin. So, from this study, it's pretty clear that people who have an obesity, I guess you would call it obesity bacteria, affect the mice as well, and that's the whole thing about the gut microbe theory. Um, so yeah, clear indicator that it has its effects, and by modifying it, we can use it for good, for the betterment of our health. There's one thing I actually learned from this theory, which is very disgusting, but apparently it works, is FMT, or fecal microbiota transplantation in its entirety. So fecal matter, and either ingesting it through pill or through other uh, unconventional means. The specific areas of our body that get affected by the types of microbes in our guts, one highly affected area of the body that gets affected is the brain. More specifically, areas such as mood and behaviors. Norepinephrine and epinephrine stress hormones that can be found in the gut can affect bacterial growth to an exponential amount. Um, and once again, like I was saying, too much of that bacterial growth means that there's no microbiota diversity. Um, some probiotics can lower these stress levels. So those, it could be good, but it could also be bad. Behavior is another big area that is affected by gut microbes, which can be an influence of signals via the vagus nerves. Lastly, appetite is heavily affected, as certain gut microbes can stimulate hormone blocks, and that in that case that would be leptin, while ghrelin would make you even more hungry, which could either work for you or against you. Um, Due to the video, how is the type of our bacteria determined in the beginning? Do we get bacteria microbes from any other external activities? And if so, what type of activities, elements cause us to exchange our bacteria? So, a vaginal birth or C-section, like was mentioned before, um, is how your bacteria is determined in the beginning. Now, later on, and yes, we can get bacteria slash microbes from any other external activities. Those would be like eating foods, water, drinking it, or water being absorbed into the skin, the presence of pets or interactions with pets, living environment, and aging. Now, bacterial exchange can occur through activities such as grooming, food sharing, and intimacy. So, the types of food that are considered effective to increase good bacteria slash good microbes in our guts would be: one is seaweed, which is good for detoxification, weight loss, and lowering cholesterol. The carbohydrates it contains acts as prebiotics, specifically sugars called sulfated polysaccharides, which have been shown to lead to an increase in good bacteria. Blueberries produce SCFA, short chain, fatty acids, which can reduce the risk of disease. Bananas contains vitamin K and anti-inflammatory compounds such as anthocyanins. And broccoli contains dietary fiber and glucosinolates. It provides impacts to the gut, leading to a diversity of bacteria, and this is also a prebiotic. Lastly, is yogurt. Yogurt is considered a probiotic. It has live bacteria cultures that introduce a new bacteria to the gut, which increases the diversity of the microbiome. Some of the live bacteria that are present in yogurt include lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. These added live bacteria won't permanently become a part of the microbiome in the gut, but their addition will temporarily increase the diversity when they interact with the bacteria that already exist in the microbiome. Now, what is the effect of taking too many antibiotics for too long in our bodies and gut bacteria? And what other things affect reducing gut bacteria that in turn deteriorate overall health? So, for antibiotics being too long, any kind of antibiotics will cause toxicity within the body, which can lead to health complications. These are apparent drugs such as acetaminophen, minoxidil, tamoxifen, big names. Another big effect is resistance. A buildup of resistance can basically entail that antibodies that you would receive, antibiotics that you will receive, you are no longer receiving the benefits, but you're receiving the side effects because of that resistance. And all the downsides that may come with taking some of these antibodies. Food allergies prohibit the ingestion of foods that may contain helpful bacteria. Fast foods or high fat foods also play a part in health deterioration due to their components of only consisting of one type of bacteria, which can result in a loss of over 1,200 species of gut microbes. This kills the diversity of helpful microbes that maintain the wellness of your body. Now, what are three things that I would do to in order to improve my gut bacteria? Two of which are things that I already do, and one of which is something that I am going to begin to do based on the gut microbe theory and things that I've learned about it. So, for number one, I've been practicing and reducing antibiotics taken in situations where I may feel unwell. Um, Meaning that, like, when I get sick or I feel severely unwell, or not severely unwell, moderately unwell, instead of resulting or trying to go to taking medicines and things like that, I just let my body deal with it. Because if I take too many antibiotics, I'll build up resistance. So, number one, they wouldn't work. And number two, my body doesn't know how to fight anything off on its own with its resources that my body naturally produces. Um, Diversifying foods that I eat and extending my palate. So, eating the same foods over and over and over are definitely going to build up, or I guess remove microbial diversity within my body, which would mean that I wouldn't have a diverse group of gut microbes because I've just been eating the same foods that have been overly like stimulating, like whichever type of microbes they are. And I want to avoid toxicities, which is something that was discussed within the video. I want to avoid toxicities within like certain microbes that are within my body. And the last one being to manage my stress more. So as discussed previously, norepinephrine and epinephrine, which are these stress hormones, will also bring a surplus of like specific microbes within my body. And the last thing I want to do is to deteriorate my health through means of that. So I want to practice more methods of like lowering my stress, like relaxing, taking breaks from any strenuous work, taking breaks from my phone, spending time with friends and family and whatnot. Um, just to overall better my health and to manage my stress. So that will be all from the video. And overall, just a disclaimer, I'm reading a paper in which I will also submit as shown work of my evidence. So thank you.